Hello everyone. I would like to present about simulation of 2004 tsunami inundation in Gold City, Sri Lanka and revisit the present evacuation measures. So our team consists of 4 members and this will be the outline of my presentation. Before starting, I would like to provide a brief overview about occurrence of tsunami events in Sri Lanka. Actually, we do not have much experience regarding tsunami events except the 2004 December tsunami event, but we do have records about early historical events that has been occurred according to our historical sources. And the most recent encounter was 2004 event, and this it was originated in Sumatra, and the waves propagated towards southern and eastern coast of Sri Lanka. And if we talk about our study area, that is Gold City, this footage shows us how the tsunami waves approach Gold City and how the inundation occurs in central bus stand, and aftermath of tsunami in Mahamudra Teaching Hospital, and these two are most critical points or the locations of our study area.
2004 tsunami event was recorded in Sri Lankan history as one of the most severe disasters with a total number of deaths higher than 35,000. If we narrow down to Galle district where our study area is located, more than 4,000 deaths were reported and the number of affected families were higher than 23,000. These pictures reveal how the city turned out after the tsunami waves. Tsunami event made Sri Lankan government identify the key reasons which increased the damage. They were lack of preparedness, absence of proper disaster management plans, and most importantly, lack of awareness about tsunami. Therefore, Sri Lankan government established Sri Lankan Disaster Management Act number 13. Under that, National Council for Disaster Management and Disaster Management Center was formed to coordinate the preparedness activities in district-wise. District disaster management coordinating units were established. In the meantime, numerous studies came up regarding tsunami inundation and tsunami inundation maps, hazard maps, suitable evacuation places, as well as structural vulnerability of the building in risk prone areas resulted in as the outcomes. However, it was noticeable that lack of focus has been given to evacuation routes in terms of horizontal evacuation. According to the identified research gap, this study was carried out to accomplish following objectives. The first objective was to reassess the tsunami inundation areas, and the second objective was to propose suitable evacuation plan based on identified hazardous areas and the availability of present evacuation measures. Next, I would like to talk about the study area. Our study area is Gold City, which is located in the southern coast of Sri Lanka. The city is known as a famous tourist destination. It consists of higher educational institutes, hospitals, central bus terminal, a railway station, government administrative buildings, as well as many commercial buildings, which makes Gold City a highly vulnerable and risk-prone area for tsunami event. During the 2004 tsunami event, the Gold City was severely affected due to the higher vulnerability, and as shown in the pictures, a catastrophic damage was caused to area around central bus stand and highway near the shoreline. Moving on to methodology, the overall methodology can be divided into two main categories: numerical modeling and field survey. Numerical simulation was done by using Delft 3D modeling system. The field survey was conducted to find the sirens, early warning tower locations, and the potential tsunami evacuation assembly points, immediate evacuation locations, as well as horizontal evacuation routes. Improvements and problems related to Galle City tsunami preparedness were also identified. For the numerical modeling part, Delft dashboard was used to generate initial sea surface displacement. The Delft 3D flow module was used to simulate the hydrodynamic effect of the tsunami. Accordingly, tsunami propagation in Indian Ocean and inundation in Galle area was simulated by Delft 3D flow model. The figure shows the three grids used for Delft 3D simulation and the tide gauge locations. Simulated water levels were verified with Vijayatunga 2006 measurements. Latitudinal and longitudinal distribution of simulated and measured values in west and south parts of Sri Lanka are displayed in the graph. We can see there is a good agreement between simulated and field observed values. For the points shown in the map, simulated inundation depths were compared with values from Murata and colleagues. As per the graph, the simulated inundation levels and field measure values are in a satisfactory agreement. Next, I would like to approach the results and discussion part. This animation shows tsunami wave propagation in sea area and inundation on land areas. This picture shows simulated inundation on land area. Shoreline near the northwest part has about 4-meter inundation depth. If we talk about the land use pattern of hilly area which has no inundation according to the field survey, they are mostly the residential areas. Galle Fort area was also identified as an inundation-free area. For the coastal area, the extent of simulated propagation agrees with the previous extents identified by DMC and other studies. When we move towards inland, the present study extent is more closer to DMC identified propagation extent. Next aspect I would like to discuss is the present condition of tsunami preparedness in Sri Lanka. If we take a look at the general procedure upon receiving warnings, the Department of Meteorology received warnings from Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, Japan Meteorological Department, and regional tsunami service providers. Once they receive a warning, depending on the earthquake magnitude, they issue advisories or warning. If the magnitude is between 6.5 to 7.5 Richter scale, they wait for the confirmation of sea level gauge data and advisory from an independent source, then issue earthquake advisory or tsunami advisory. But if the magnitude is higher than 7.6, without waiting for confirmation, they issue immediate evacuation state. The dissemination of warnings or advisories was done through mass media, network providers, public or police communication towers, military camps, district disaster coordinators, and district secretariat. When talking about the tsunami preparedness in Galle City, District Disaster Management Coordination Unit Galle under Disaster Management Center is responsible for executing evacuation orders in Galle District. It has also provided technical support in identifying warning dissemination routes and developing hazard maps. Also in proposing evacuation points and conducting evacuation drills. During our field survey, we identified some problems in Galle City tsunami preparedness. The community has received many false alarms and it has developed lack of reliability. Community participation for evacuation drill is also low, especially the households. They have very low participation for evacuation drills. Most importantly, heavy traffic jam and had created during the past evacuations, and the absence of proper road network is also highlighted. The authorities have already taken improvements in executing evacuation orders. Currently, the police and military support is given. For the communication, radio, mobile, telecommunication methods have also involved, but we can also see the early warning towers have also available in the Galle City, and we were able to came up with few recommendations as well, including identifying alternative routes and incorporating service sectors such as electricity board during the facilitating the evacuation orders. Based on the above recommendations, we have proposed preparedness plan and evacuation measures. This slide shows the proposed tsunami preparedness plan and evacuation locations by our study. From numerical simulation results, we could identify non-inundating safe areas for evacuation from the present study. These areas agreed with outcome of previous studies. From field survey and key informant surveys, further, we identified vertical evacuation locations. We have also marked the highly vulnerable buildings such as schools and hospitals situated very closer to the coast. We were able to propose evacuation locations covering a broad area than past studies. Since one of the key problems identified was heavy traffic congestion generated mostly in the highways, we identified alternative routes for the community to reach the safe areas, including vertical evacuation locations. This figure illustrates the inundation-free areas and the routes to approach them. It will minimize the delay caused by traffic. Suitable assembly points were identified. Recommendations from DMC officials have also been considered during the location identifying. And according to the field survey estimates, more than 1,700 families can be allocated for the recommended locations. Nearby high-rise buildings were also selected, considering a last-minute evacuation scenario for highly vulnerable locations.
Before wrapping up, I would like to say we were able to reproduce tsunami inundation successfully, and our simulated results agreed with currently available hazard maps. And if we talk about the present condition of tsunami evacuation measures and early warning system of Sri Lanka, it is at a favorable condition. But we have to admit we identified some problems such as lack of community participation and receiving of false alarm. And also we were able to identify the safe areas with no inundation and potential places to conduct name as evacuation points and horizontal routes which are suitable for immediate evacuations. So also authors would like to acknowledge Deltas and Delft dashboard softwares, and we would like to acknowledge the support given by District Disaster Management Unit GOAL and relevant officers when conducting the field survey. Thank you very much, everyone.